Hi, I'm Mike Dilk and you're listening to the Relax Back UK show, the show that explores all kinds of health topics relevant to you, your family and your friends. Each week I talk to expert guests from a range of backgrounds to inform and entertain you. So please do join the Relax Back UK family and stay tuned.
Hi, and thank you for joining me on the Relax Back UK show. Now, do you like a good sing-song, a bit of a sing? Do you sing in the shower?
We sing because we feel good, but also it can absolutely help reset our nervous system, interestingly, and make us feel better.
I chat with a singing coach to the stars and also the singing coach for Britain's Got Talent contestants, Annabel Williams. We talk about how singing really can be good fun and also it can be very good for you. So please do stay tuned for a great show. Thank you. Annabel Williams is a singing coach to many famous people. She has been the vocal coach on Britain's Got Talent for the last 14 years, so she's absolutely the right person to ask everything you could possibly want to know about singing. And my first question to her was, is singing a basic human instinct?
Is singing a basic human instinct? First of all, absolutely, it is. You know, it's if you can speak, you can sing. That's what I always say, and I love that because singing well often can alienate people that just love to sing. You know, instinctively, babies sing. I have a 1-year-old daughter, you know, and she sings and she hears things and she copies. I'm not teaching her that. I mean, I'm sure she has the love of singing in her because she's my daughter, but babies do copy what they hear. And I think until we get older and you know, things, natural emotions like shyness and awareness start to kick in and not wanting to draw attention to ourselves, we just do that glorious thing of just singing like no one's listening. And I love that. And I wish we could bottle that and enable people to just carry that on from when they were little.
So it's more than just communication, do you think?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, we can talk to communicate.
Yeah, I think the fact that we do it and it makes us feel better proves that it is a natural instinct within us and whether we're any good at it or not. So everybody sings to, if you can speak, you can sing. Everyone sings to their babies, for example. You know, I remember reading a thing when I was pregnant that said, you know, when your baby's born, sing to it. Doesn't matter if you're not any good. Babies love it. They're not going to judge you for how good or bad your voice is. And it's so true. Babies just love the sound of the parent or the carer's voice. And I think that really goes through life. That's something that starts at birth and goes through life. And it's just something that is, it helps us with emotional expression. It's just instinctively there, I think. And I think it's a wonderful discipline for us to all have and a tool to make us feel better.
Do you think that's a difference between us and the animals? Because animals sing, but my impression is they sing for communication. Do they sing for joy?
Well, personally, I think they do. I mean, you know, it's a good question. It's an interesting question. I've never been asked it before, actually. Do animals sing for anything other than communication? I think mostly no, it would be the honest answer. However,
Probably an unfair question, actually.
Well, but it's, you know what, I like it because I've never been asked it before, so it's got me thinking about it. Look, birds sing in the morning. I like to think that it's not just for communication, you know. I like to think that there's definitely some enjoyment there. I have a friend who has a dog who sings every time Coronation Street comes on. And that's definitely not a communication thing. He is loving that theme tune. So, yeah, and, you know, parrots mimic and they, you know, if you say something, they'll mimic it back. If you sing something, they'll sing it back. I definitely think there is some enjoyment in there for animals, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So on the enjoyment, does singing make us feel good or do we sing because we feel good? Or is it a bit of both? You know, what are your thoughts on that?
It's a good one. I definitely think it's both. We sing because we feel good, but also it can absolutely help reset our nervous system, interestingly, and make us feel better. So if you think about humming, chanting, you know, things like that, singing stimulates the relaxation response in the body and can induce a state of calm. And that's why like chanting is used in things like meditation and even religious environments, things like that. So, for example, I've just finished Britain's Got Talent last weekend, and what's interesting is just before the contestants go on, because these contestants are not used to singing on live TV. You know, for some of them, this is their absolute first time singing on live TV. Just before they go on, let's be honest, they're a complete nervous wreck, most of them, understandably. And I think even pro singers are, to a certain level, very, very nervous. But interestingly, the second they open their mouth and start singing, they're absolutely fine and more than fine. They are flying, absolutely loving it. And all those nerves go away. And they're totally loving it. And I think, and then they come off and go, I want to do it again. I loved it. And I think
Is that the singing, do you think, or the reaction of the audience? You know, if you start singing and the audience kind of don't seem to like it.
100% the singing,
Okay.
100%. Even if there was no one sat there, if you just open your mouth and start singing, you feel better. And singing is a natural, spontaneous way to express when we're feeling good. The other thing to think about is breathing. Singers use a breathing technique called diaphragmatic breathing, which we all naturally do when we're born. And over the years, we kind of learn bad habits and stop doing it. But diaphragmatic breathing allows us to maximize the use of our lungs. And it helps us with excellent, healthy breathing, which is just so good for you.
Can you just
Um,
describe what it is for those who
Absolutely.
don't
Well,
really know?
it's essentially not shallow breathing and breathing lower down using, we call it belly breathing. It's not belly breathing. It's breathing into the lower part of your body where when you breathe in, your belly goes out and your shoulders don't go up and down. It's sort of a really easy way of explaining it. So what I always say to my clients is breathing in, belly out, breathing out, belly in. Um, and what this starts to do is it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous
I'm
system.
doing it now. I'm trying to do it now.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you can, I say, smell the roses, blow out the candles. Smell the roses, blow out the candles. And that's a really surefire way of helping you just get that belly breathing going. And it allows you to get the correct balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen. So you get lots of lovely oxygen in and you get all that carbon dioxide waste out. And rebalancing those amounts, making you feel really, really great. And equally, there are loads and loads of benefits to it. It makes you feel good. It's a much better way of breathing for us. But also for singers, it can help support the notes. It can help melt away any tension in the throat and strain in the throat if you are shallow breathing, allowing you to access notes so much easier. So there's loads and loads of benefits to diaphragmatic breathing.
Okay, so singing like that, whether it's singing in the shower or singing on stage, has lots of positives, makes you feel good. What
Yeah.
about singing with a load of other people in a choir?
I love this. I love singing in a choir because so many people love to sing that aren't singers, don't do it for a living, have day jobs. But you ask, there's so many people, everyone loves to sing. So if you can be part of a choir, it eliminates the feeling of sticking out, feeling self-conscious when you're in a group, but still keeping all those positive aspects of singing. It's such a lovely thing to do. Singing together actually releases happy chemicals and hormones. So whether you're singing
Yeah.
alone or in a group, often even more so in a group because it brings feelings of unity and togetherness. And for non-singers who love to sing, it just helps you sing in a group where you don't have the same pressure as singing solo. So it can
Is there
actually,
actually any research, like published research, on what happens in the brain when you're singing as part of a group or something like that?
yeah, well, if you think about what singing does generally anyway, it's scientifically proven that singing, just singing or singing your favorite songs makes you feel better. So, for example, when you sing, you release a number of feel-good hormones and chemicals that bring on happy feelings. So, endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin. Oxytocin is what's released between the mother and the child at birth and things like that. So it's that real natural togetherness feeling and bond, which is wonderful and explains why we love to sing. So that's kind of the scientific explanation. And I think when you do that in a group environment and you take away the pressure of being judged or singing solo or anything like that, it kind of elevates it even more.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, I've got to just pick up on something you said a bit earlier. You said that you help people, contestants in Britain's Got Talent. Now, what kind of help do they need? Because I'm assuming they must be pretty good at singing before they start, but they might be a bit nervous. So, what kind of things do you do for those contestants?
Absolutely. So I've just finished my 14th year on Britain's Got Talent as the vocal coach. I'm very much part of the furniture there now. You're right. They can all sing. They can all sing really, really well. However, just being able to naturally sing well isn't enough under a high pressure environment like Britain's Got Talent. It's live television. You're singing in front of those four scary judges and millions of people. You know, they've already done a bit of the hard work by doing the audition, but of course the audition
Is
isn't
it
live.
actually live? When they're singing,
Live,
does
live.
everyone at home see it at the same time?
Absolutely live to the second. So
Goodness me.
I'm the one of the last people they see before they go on. So we're doing breathing exercises and calming them down, and then on they go. And then I'm sort of there like mummy, fairy godmother at the end, ready to give the high fives and the cuddles at the end to congratulate them. But you know, it's such a process. People don't realize what goes on behind the scenes. These singers train for 2, 3 months for these performances because it is such a lot of pressure. So for me, it's really important that we get every single note that they're going to sing into their muscle memory, so that if on the night they very understandably could have that kind of brain fart moment where they're going, "Oh my God, this is it. It's actually happening. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm singing on live TV." It will just still come out right because they've practiced it so much. So it's like an autopilot kind of response.
And are they training with you for those 2 or 3 months?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the auditions, I'll let you into some inside goss. The
Yeah, yeah,
audition,
yeah.
they're completely on their own for the audition. So there's three stages to Britain's Got Talent: audition, semi-final, and final. Auditions, they're completely on their own. And then I come in for the semi-final and final because it is such a lot of pressure, and you really just need another singer in your corner, kind of guiding you. And it is so much more than just vocal coaching. It's you know, I'm a therapist, and any vocal coach will tell you, any singing teacher will tell you, we are therapists as well.
Have you ever actually kind of had to literally kind of slap someone and push them onto the stage because they were terrified?
Well, I mean, I've definitely had situations where people have thought, I can't do this. But I think slapping them and pushing them on probably would get me fired and isn't the best way to go about getting them on. But I mean, you know, in fairness to your question, short of pushing someone on, yeah, I mean, it's live television. Once you're introduced by Ant and Dec, you're off. But they always get it together. They always get it together. I haven't had anyone who's walked the other way, touch wood, so far. So yeah, they always
Okay.
get there
No,
in the
I mean
end.
that would that be good TV if they walked the other way? I don't know.
Of
Probably
course, it would
not.
be wonderful TV, but we would hate it.
Okay. So not well, you could mention names if you like, but has there been anyone who was on who you thought, my goodness, they're kind of in the wrong place, they're a bit too nervous, but then they've strode on and just blown everyone away?
Well, yeah. I mean, I can give you a great example, and she won't mind me saying Sydney Christmas, who won Britain's Got Talent last year. I mean, she's honestly one of the best voices I've ever worked with, and one of the nicest people. And she was an absolute nervous wreck just before she went on. She really was, just like the rest of them. And she'll openly admit it. I've heard her say it in interviews how nervous she was. But when that girl goes on stage, something magical happens. And I put it down to the fact that it is instinctively in her to be on stage. She is meant to be on stage. She's meant to sing. She's that good. And she was, I mean, she didn't throw up, but it was along those, you know, she was feeling sick before she went on. We were breathing. I was holding her hands. I was holding her. I was cuddling her. And then they introduce her, and you've basically got a minute of the VT that they play to get on that stage. No matter what happens, you're getting on that stage. And then she's absolutely fine. Like I said earlier, it just all melts away because that is where she's supposed to be.
Interesting. Nice. Let's move on a little bit to kind of nerves and singing, because there are some instances where I think singing and music in general maybe is used to try and quell nerves. I'm thinking the example that I was thinking of, and there are probably more of them, is thing like the haka chant before rugby when New Zealand play rugby, and that derived from sort of that was a war chant.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking in well, from the First World War, there are examples of Scottish regiments having the bagpipes playing and stuff like that.
Mm.
Does singing and music help quell nerves, do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think there's two things there. First of all, breathing. So whenever I get asked what's the best thing for nerves, breathing, breathing, breathing. Just getting that low down belly breathing in through the nose for a short breath, long out through the mouth. Again, uh, what's the word? Triggering the parasympathetic nervous system to calm you down and get your heart rate back down, stop the sweating, stop the dilated pupils, all the things that happen when we're getting into fight mode. And breathing can be absolutely wonderful. And secondly, practice, experience. So kind of blagging it, you're not going to be as confident as if you've been practicing on something for a long time. So opera singers will spend months working on a piece for a performance to really get it in your bones, get it in your muscle memory. And so I think things like the haka and bagpipes and chants and things like that, because they incorporate the diaphragmatic breathing, which allows us to maximize the use of our lungs and help with excellent breathing, which is so good for you. Again, going back to what I said earlier, it gets that correct balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen. It gets you back to a relaxed, normal state without the fast breathing and that feeling of being under
So
attack.
before we're doing anything that we're finding a bit scary, maybe a job interview or whatever, have a bit of a sing before, and might solve half the problems.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's all about, I think, just doing as much of that as possible, warming up, singing the songs that you're going to sing before you go on. So yeah, it releases those feel good hormones and those happy feelings. So I think the more you can do it and the more you get it into your body and that breathing and the connection between your breathing and what's coming out of your mouth, the more experienced you are. And actually, I always say to sort of newbie singers, young singers who are up and coming, just get on stage, because the one thing I can't teach you is experience. Just get on stage and do it, because that will help you so much, because the more you do that, it improves your confidence, and the more comfortable you'll be on stage. The more comfortable you are on stage, the more you can relax and have space in your brain to concentrate on technique and what you should be focusing on to help you sing better.
Let's move on. Slightly different topic, but kind of interesting. Do couples, well, good friends maybe, but I was thinking more couples. Do they sing to each other?
Yeah, I mean, when I think of couples singing together, I think all couples love to sing together at varying stages in their relationship. I think it's a thing that we do when we first get together, or we go out and it might be karaoke, and it's a way of relaxing and bonding us. And then, you might have moving on a few years, you might get married, you might have a special song that you love to sing to each other. That's a really lovely thing about songs that you associate with memories and things like that, and again make you feel good, and they are magical kind of
Because your music really can be
sentimental songs for
associated
you.
with specific times and memories, can't it? I think.
Absolutely, songs really do. And it can be the words to a song, or it can be the melody, or something that just gets you, those songs that make you cry, whether it's for a sad reason or a happy reason. That's the beauty of music, of how it makes you feel and helps you deal with certain situations in life.
I've got a personal anecdote from this actually. For about 20 years, I have been singing to my wife the Gypsy Rover,
Right.
which is kind of a folk song, which goes back because I used to
How
go
does that go, Mike?
well, that's the nub of the song. So after 20 years, because she's quite a good musician, she can play the piano and what have you,
Yeah.
and she can do
Right. Oh,
something like that.
great.
So after 20 years of singing this to her, I said, well, look, why don't you just play it? And she turned around and she said, well, darling, I don't really know how it goes. And I said,
Oh,
I've been singing it to you for 20 years. She said, yeah, it's kind of different each time, and I don't really know how it goes. So that was a bit upsetting, really.
oh, bless. Oh, that's so
Really a
sweet.
singer at all. And she didn't. I've been singing this Gypsy Rover song to her for a long time, and she didn't know how it went, which was a bit of a shame, really.
But
I thought.
you know what? It's your version. No, it's your version, and that is the correct answer. That's how it goes. It doesn't matter how the original goes. It's how you sing it.
Quite possibly. Anyway, that kind of it dashed me, crushed me. I was left crushed. So I'm not about to be one of the people you coach on Britain's Got Talent. I don't
You
think.
never know. You never know.
We might at the end. I might give you a challenge at the end to help me with that. But
I love a challenge. Bring
all
it
right,
on.
we'll see how if we've got time left at the end. But back to Britain's Got Talent and also the Eurovision Song Contest and songs.
Mhm.
As a singing expert, can you say what makes a catchy song? A pop song is really just following a few rules, and if you follow those rules, it's going to be catchy. And sort of bound up with that. I don't know if it's just because I'm old and cantankerous old git now, but is pop music just dull and boring now? And it used to be kind of exciting and fun. Yeah, lots of questions there, really.
Yeah, I mean, the the overall sort of my response to that is it's all subjective, which is the brilliant thing of music. It is all subjective, and if we all loved the same thing, it would be boring. There'll be an artist that you love that I might not love, and there'll be an artist that I love that you might not like. And I think that's okay, first of all. That is absolutely okay, and it's what makes the world go round, having different tastes and us all being different and fabulously different. In terms of what makes a song catchy, there is and there isn't a formula to a catchy pop song. I think if I could tell you exactly what that formula was, I'd be a very rich songwriter. Ultimately, what it comes down to is something that is an earworm that sticks in your head. That's essentially what catchy means. And so that might be the vocal, it might be the instrumentation. So, for example, if you think of Britney Spears' Baby One More Time, that piano intro, dun dun dun. I mean, it's two notes. It's so catchy. You know instantly what the song is. And that's an example there of a song which is fairly old now, which is still being played today. And still, when you hear that dun dun dun, everyone goes crazy for it, because everyone loves that song. Or like another really similar example is the opening riff on Man, I Feel Like a Woman, Shania Twain. Da, 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 da. Again, we all know what that song is instantly, and it's like, woo, yeah. And those are kind of feel good songs, maybe on like a night out or a hen night or a stag do or something where you're all together with your mates, birthday party, wedding, that sort of thing, where you can lose your inhibitions and just go crazy and all sing along together and feel amazing as a result. Um, so yeah, it can be a hook of the song, it can be a catchy part of the song, it can be the chorus, it can be like living on a prayer, the key change, the big note, those are the things that sort of stick in your head. So there isn't one answer, but as you can see, there is a common denominator here,
Yeah.
which makes it the formula.
But if you can come up with that formula, um, you're probably onto a good thing.
I would bottle it and sell it for a lot of money. Absolutely. I'll
So
let you know
talk.
if I find it.
You mentioned a couple of professional singers, and I'm thinking professional singers that maybe do shows in London. They've got to do a show 6 or 7 times a week.
Yeah.
This is pretty serious stuff. This is like being an elite athlete. Your body is your living, as it were.
Yeah.
You've got to look after it. Do people come to you for advice on, protecting their voices, not wearing them out?
All the time. All the time. You're absolutely right. It is exactly like being an athlete, being a singer. And that's why it's really important to respect your voice. So sometimes people come to me that are pro singers, that are big, big stars, and they've no idea how to look after their voice. And it's generally because they're getting older and they're not getting away with it anymore. However, having said that, I would give big, big respect to West End and Broadway singers doing 8 shows a week because they are all trained. They have to be trained. You can't do 8 shows a week and not have training. And it's your job to turn up and sing every night as strong as possible. I always say that to my clients. It's your job to warm up. It's your job to look after your voice. You don't just do it as a favor to yourself. It's part of your job. You can't turn up to a show and I'm not having a great day today. Absolutely not. People are paying their hard-earned money to hear you sing, so you have a responsibility to them and yourself to look after your voice. So yeah, I mean, if you want me to go through a few little tips of mine that I would
Yeah, why
recommend
not?
to look after your voice. First of all, there is no magic formula to it. Okay, so things like that you would expect: voice rest, sleep, hydration, so lots of water, warming up, cooling down, steaming your voice. Steaming is the quickest way to hydrate your vocal cords.
What's that?
Just the steam from hot
hot
water.
water. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely, the steam from hot water. Because it goes directly onto the cords, unlike water. So, and then loads of natural anti-inflammatories. So, as singers, when we sing, if our vocal cords are fatigued, they can swell up, just like if you've been on your feet all day, your ankles swell. Doesn't mean you've done any damage. It just means they need to repair and recover. And the way you do that is by shutting up, essentially. So when your vocal cords are being used, they're vibrating together. And when they're not being used, they're not closed. So they're only closed when they're actually being used. So when I'm speaking to you now, my vocal cords are opening and closing. And as soon as I stop talking, they open again. And it's the opening of the vocal cords that we want to repair our voice. So in order to keep our vocal cords open, we don't speak, and that's called voice rest. So voice rest is it's like magic for singers. So you'll find a lot of those West End and Broadway singers will be on voice rest during the day, depending on how tired their voices are. Having said that, because they're doing 8 shows a week, any singer will say to you, whether they're currently in a show or they did a show in the past, my voice was never as strong as when I was doing 8 shows a week. So you get a lot of artists that might spend a bit of time doing a West End show, and then they go off on tour and they might contact me and go, oh, I've had a bit of time off. My voice isn't feeling as strong as it was when I was doing that West End show. It was the strongest it's ever been, and that's because you're building up your stamina, just like an athlete.
Yeah, so they're just out of practice.
Absolutely, and you can get it back. They always say to me, "Have I lost it? Will I get it back?" Absolutely, it's just like exercise.
Intriguing. Okay. Right. So we've spoken about all kinds of
Oh,
stuff.
one final thing, excuse me, and Jakeman's. I was just going to say, because just to add to that list, and I genuinely am saying this, I've used Jakeman's for about 10 years with my contestants and clients and singers, because you might get a dry mouth, a sore throat, and also it has loads of those, going back to the anti-inflammatories, it has loads of those anti-inflammatories in there. It's really, really good for you. And if you're poorly, it acts as a decongestant with the menthol. So yeah, I always have some of those on me in my when I'm working for the contestants and singers.
Okay. If people are listening to this and they think, do you know what? I'd like to try and have a bit of a sing somewhere, join a group, or not just sing in the shower on my own, but sing with other people.
Yeah.
How can they kind of start to try and do that? Any advice? Because I mean, there must be lots of choirs around, but it's not in my world. I don't bump into them. How can people kind of get involved?
Absolutely there are. And in this day and age it's great. We can just Google it. So you just find out, ask, have a look online. What is there in your local area? There's always going to be a choir or some sort of singing group in your local area. And don't be shy. Life's too short. Just go and turn up. And even if you're afraid, that's okay. Just be brave. Just be brave and go, and speak to friends, find a friend that might want to come with you for extra support, or have some singing lessons. Just start working with a singing coach, and just because what that does is it helps you to understand your voice, and the more you do that, your confidence levels build. And also, I'd say use my app. I have a vocal coach training app that is designed for all levels, including beginners, and it's really, really clearly labeled. If you've absolutely no idea what you're doing, just download my app. It's called the Vocal Coach, and it's really simple. I like things to be done simply, so it's literally exercise, video. You watch the quick little video of me explaining how to do the exercise, and then just give it a try. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. Just go for it, and you'll get a lot out of it. And don't sort of worry about how good or bad you are to start off with. It's like exercise. Just give it a go and you'll get better at it.
Okay, interesting. Right now, I'm getting a bit terrified now because I was thinking of trying to get you to help me with this song, The Gypsy Rover. Now, if we've got like 3 minutes left,
Yeah.
if I were to attempt to sing a little bit of this to you, could you then suggest how I might improve such that my wife might actually know the tune next time?
Absolutely. So what I'd like you to do, Mike, and I want you to just be brave, and I want you to think of the hardest part of the song, and without much more thought, just sing it to me and let me just hear how you're doing it.
Okay. All right. So I won't sing the whole song because I don't.
No, just sing me the hardest line of the song, the biggest couple of lines of the song. The bits that you really, when you get there, you think, oh God, I hate this bit. I'm terrified.
Well, I don't know if it's the bit I can remember really. I say, ah-dee do, da day, ah-dee do, day dee. He whistled and he sang till the green words rang. He won the heart of a lady.
Yeah.
So it's you and me, but I'm red with
First of
just
all,
embarrassment and nerves.
No, Mike, well done you for even doing that. That is absolutely terrifying if you're not a singer. I'm really, really impressed, and it shows your inner strength and that you actually are a lot stronger than you realise. So just on first listening to you there, my first response would be your pitching instinct needs work. So what that means is you could have the nicest tone in the world, and actually that's one thing that stuck out to me is I think you've got an interesting tone. So that is the natural sound of your voice in that part of the range of your voice and in that volume where you were singing it in your natural voice sounds really interesting to me. However, what's making it sound not quite on point is because the pitching is wavering around. So I'd do one of two things. One, I would sing along to the record and really use your ear to listen. What are the correct notes? Da, is it da, 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 da? I mean, I don't know exactly, but what should those notes be?
You sound like my wife now.
Yeah. Do you have a piano at home?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Great. So then go to the piano and work out what the notes should be. Play them and then listen to what you're playing so that you're making sure that you're singing exactly what you're listening to. And what that's going to do is going to do something which you've probably never even thought about, which is repeating properly what you're listening to. Listening is such an underrated skill as a singer in training. And you really need to listen. The more you actually listen to it, you're going to get that correct melody in your head. Now, once we've fixed the pitching, then we're already going to be sounding a lot better. Secondly, once you've done that and you really feel like you've got that pitching in your head correctly, move your mouth more. Think of the end of a trumpet. It's a much bigger hole than the beginning of the trumpet because it's designed that way so the sound can come out and be nice and bright and full. And your mouth works in exactly the same way. So move your mouth. You're a little bit slurry there, Mike. And of course, that's something that you wouldn't know to do. But if you move your mouth, have good diction, not only does it help us understand more what you're singing, what the notes should be, but it raises, without going too geeky, it raises the placement of the voice and brightens it and gives us a much thicker, fuller tone.
Fabulous. Right, you know what? I'm going to try and do those things. I might even listen to your app and give it another go. And then I'm going to surprise my wife with a perfect rendition of the whole thing.
I don't doubt you will. Absolutely. Go for it. We're all rooting for you. We're all behind you. Good luck with that, my love.
Thank you. Right, look, Annabel, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. I really enjoyed chatting with you. Some really interesting stuff about, what you've done with Britain's Got Talent and singing in general. So, yeah, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and best of luck with the singing. And just to anyone listening, I would just say, if you like to sing but you're scared, please just go for it. Life's too short. Just go for it. You never know. With some training or just singing in a choir, who knows where it will take you.
Good advice there. Thank you.
Thank you very much to my guest this week, Annabel Williams, the singing coach. Please do remember to check out my book, which is based on previous guests to the show. It's called Cut the Crap, Ask the Questions That Matter About Your Health, and that's available on Amazon. Thank you very much for listening, and have a healthy week. Until next week.
Thanks for listening to the Relax Back UK show. Join me, Mike Dilk, again next week for more fascinating interviews and chat. If you're listening to the podcast version, please subscribe, like, and share it with your family and friends. And have a healthy week. Until next week.